With so many eyes currently focused on Bioware's latest wunderkind Mass Effect 3, I thought it fitting to make my next review about one of their past triumphs which, like the Mass Effect series, boasts an epic story, well-developed characters, a huge living world, more choices which determine how the game progresses, and tons of quests and side quests. Also, it has a more fulfilling ending. In the first game, you played a young, naive stripling who just happened to be descended from Bhaal, the god of murder. For reasons that you don't quite understand for a long time, you are forced to flee your home of Candlekeep, watch your foster father Gorion be murdered by your evil half-brother Saravok, and are cast into the wilderness to wend your righteous or despicable way towards the final showdown with your brother. Forgive me if that sounds vague, but to be honest, you should either know the plot yourself, or, if not, really should go find out. In the second game, Shadows of Arm, your character has gone from a doe-eyed whelp to a powerful legend, which sadly has gotten him noticed by the game's villain, John Arenicus, voiced by David Warner. Unfortunately, this means you start the game in a cage, subject to his grim and mysterious experiments. The timely intervention of some shadowy assassins allows you and several of your companions a chance to escape. Here you are presented with your first choice. Do you do the good and decent thing, that is to release your comrades from captivity, or do you leave them to rot in their cages and die slowly of thirst for no other reason than because you can? Well, I'm assuming that's how it goes. Being a wuss, I almost never have the stomach for the evil path, so I always let them out. This done, you fight your way out into the sunshine. And then things really start to go wrong. I could yammer on for hours about the plot, but this is the kind of game where exploration begets immersion, and half the fun comes from discovering the world and the story yourself. Elements of it are revealed slowly and often subtly, requiring you to wend your way through the vibrant cities and open wild landscapes, finding parts of the story or having them find you. You have the ability to import your previous character from the first game. Whilst there are some advantages to doing this, you ultimately won't lose much from the experience by creating a new character. What you will want to do, however, is transfer your character from Shadows of Arm to the expansion Throne of Bhaal. The standard range of D&D character classes are available for you to play as: Fighter, Mage, Ranger, Druid, Cleric, Paladin, Rogue and Bard. If you wish, you can merge some of these classes, and each have their own subclasses, providing advantages in some abilities and disadvantages in others. Your party can consist of up to 5 interchangeable henchmen at once. Some are returning faces from the first game, some are new. All can be said to fit neatly into one of the 9 trademark D&D alignments, ranging from lawful good to chaotic evil. It is in characterization that you see the largest improvement from the first game. Whereas previously henchmen had little to say beyond their introduction and a few choice lines here and there, this time serious effort has gone into developing the personalities of those you travel with. They have specific quests attached to them, they engage you and other party members in dialogue, and some despise each other so much they may fight to the death. Also returning for cameo roles are a number of the more memorable henchmen from the first game, some in more cheerful circumstances than others. There are also romance options, which are themselves well developed and engaging, despite some occasional oddities. Unfortunately, whilst there are 3 romances available for male characters, only 1 exists for women, which is a shame considering how many interesting male henchmen are available. There are aspects of both the characters and the world, which in turn beget other aspects, which all help to convey a greater sense of realism in the game. For example, weariness will strike after a time, and then you are asleep, which in turn may get you attacked by some wandering churls or beasts if you should sleep in a foolish place. If you sleep on the streets, you will likely be told to bugger off by a guardsman. If you sleep in an inn, your wounds will heal better than if you slept in the wilderness, and more so if you shell out a few extra gold pieces for a better quality room. Combat is a complex affair indeed. All at once you must manage 6 combatants against a variety of enemies, which involves choosing who attacks what, who stands where, which spells are cast, which potions are employed, do you want to set any strategic traps about the battlefield, what other abilities are used, who needs an emergency healing potion before they die, who needs to make a run for it, who needs to be resurrected, and others. Thankfully, you have the ability to pause combat and make your plans in peace, before watching the effects of your choices play out. This degree of involvement can make for a much more rewarding experience, in my opinion at least, than just left or right clicking your enemies to death. Of course, some fights will require no strategy at all. You can just rush your party forward with brandished sticks and swords to whack the weedy whelps as needed. Other battles will require you to use every spell, trap, trick, potion and ability to win, and even then you'll have to be lucky. It's for this reason that it pays to have a versatile party which covers all the bases, so to speak. Inventory is another pleasantly complex affair. You shall need to darn your characters as best you can to protect them from harm, and also an appropriate garb for their class. Mages, for example, shouldn't wear plate mail as their wizened frames may collapse under its weight. Also, it may screw up your spells. Similarly, some items need to be identified before they can be used, some are cursed, some are incredibly heavy, and too many heavy things will over-encumber your characters. Music and sound go a long way to bolstering the atmosphere in this game. In a bustling city centre you hear the sounds of chattering denizens going about their business, in the wilderness you hear birdsong and the rushing of the wind, in dungeons you hear a portentous echoing quiet, perhaps foreshadowing an approaching doom. and the music, or sometimes lack thereof, reflects the setting impeccably. In battle you'll hear the taunts and pained utterances of your allies and enemies alike, as well as the chaotic noise of battle and spellcasting. The music during battles is epic indeed, no more so than during the dramatic boss fights. Music can reflect the more peaceful moods as well, and often lends a good deal of emotion to the dialogue of the romance subplots. Moral choices run through the Baldur's Gate series like the proverbial golden thread. Unlike the conscionable or potentially misguided paragon, or the ambiguous renegade, however, wherein a greater good might be said to be served, in Baldur's Gate it is a lot more straightforward, good or evil. Save the villagers or kill them for sport, free the slaves or let them rot. This might seem simplistic, but considering your character's lineage and possible destinies, these choices come to play a significant part in their, or perhaps more appropriately, your story. Of the ending I'll of course not say too much, but suffice to say, you receive closure, it fits in well with the rest of the story, you learn what becomes of your comrades, and, to the best of my knowledge, the fans never felt compelled to band together to demand a better one. Baldur's Gate 2, and Baldur's Gate 1 for that matter, are titans among the old classics and an absolute must-have.
You, do I know you? No, I don't know anyone. Back! Bad dog! Play dead!